What if I told you the strongest way to pull a woman closer is by not pulling at all? Not with words, not with flowers, not even with attention, but with something quiet, invisible, and powerful. It's not charm, it's not money, it's detachment. And it's the one thing that makes a woman emotionally hooked without her even knowing why. Let's talk about it. There is something strange that happens when you stop chasing people. They start noticing you more. They look for you. They wonder about you. And sometimes they even miss you more than when you were trying your hardest. This isn't magic. It's not a trick. It's something called detachment. And if you learn this one trait, it can change everything in your love life. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you stop being kind. And it doesn't mean you play games. Detachment simply means this: you care, but you don't cling. You like her, but you don't lose yourself over her. You give love, but you don't beg for it. You stay calm, you stay strong, you stay centered in your own world. See, most men are told to chase, to always text first, to always give more, to prove themselves. But this makes you look unsure. It makes you feel needy. And it makes her feel like she doesn't have to do anything to keep you. But the man who is detached, he makes her feel something different. She starts to ask questions in her head like, why isn't he chasing me like the others? What is he doing right now? Why can't I stop thinking about him? Because detachment creates space, and space creates curiosity, and curiosity turns into emotional pull. Think of it like this. Imagine you're walking in a field. You see a butterfly. You chase it. It flies away. But if you sit still, peaceful, and calm, the butterfly might come sit right on your shoulder. That's detachment. You don't chase what you want. You become so solid in yourself that what you want is naturally drawn to you. Women become emotionally dependent, not on a man who gives everything, but on a man who makes them feel something rare, a man who makes them wonder, a man who is calm in storms, a man who doesn't rush love because he already has peace inside. That is the hidden power. That is the pull she can't explain. And it all begins with learning to stand still, like a rock in the river, while the world around you rushes for attention. Heed the wise. Ever noticed how the more you try to win her over, the faster she pulls away? It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. But why does this happen? Let's uncover the truth. Behind why chasing feels like caring, but actually destroys attraction. Let's be honest. Most men are taught the wrong way to love. They think, if I show her how much I care, if I prove I'm better than other guys, if I give her everything she wants, she'll stay. But here's the truth. Chasing doesn't make her stay. It makes her run. Because chasing sends one loud message: that you don't believe you're enough on your own, that you think you have to convince her, that you're scared to lose her. And that fear, she feels it. And it makes her feel like you're not in control of yourself. Imagine this. 2 men stand in front of her. One is chasing, calling, texting, offering gifts, always available. The other is calm, focused on his path, not trying to impress, not trying to force. Guess which one she feels more pulled toward? The one who doesn't chase. The one who makes her want to move toward him. Because attraction doesn't grow in noise. It grows in space. It grows when she feels a little unsure, just enough to wonder what you're doing. You might think, but isn't showing love good? Yes, it is. But love that chases is love that's afraid. And fear is not attractive. What's attractive? A man who values himself. A man who says, I like you. I enjoy you. But I don't need to run after you to prove it. Because chasing puts her in control. And the truth is, most women don't want to be in control of the relationship. They want to feel your direction. They want to feel your energy. They want to feel your calm, solid presence. When you chase, you're saying, you are more important than my time, my energy, and my purpose. And that makes her feel like she's carrying all the power. But the man who doesn't chase, he's not rude. He's not cold. He's just grounded. He gives without needing. He shows interest without begging. He's open, but not wide open. And that's what makes her emotionally attached. So if she's drifting away, don't run after her. Stand still. Focus on your own life. Let her feel your absence. Let her remember your presence. Because when you stop chasing, you give her a reason to come looking. Have you ever watched a man lose everything over one emotional reaction? He had her attention. He had her respect. Until he couldn't control his anger, his sadness, or his fear. That one moment, when his emotions took over, that's when he lost her. Now let's flip the story. What if your calm made her addicted? There's a quiet kind of power that most men don't talk about. It's not about muscles. It's not about money. It's not about how loud you are, how funny you are, or how many followers you have. It's about emotional control. When a man can feel everything, but still stay calm, that's strength. Most guys think showing feelings all the time means they're being real. But when your emotions control you, you stop being a rock. You become a storm. And guess what? Storms might look powerful, but no one wants to build a life in the middle of one. Women don't attach to chaos. They attach to stability. It doesn't mean you should be cold, or silent, or fake. It means when you're mad, you breathe. When you're sad, you process. When you're confused, you don't explode. You stay grounded. You stay you. Because that calm presence tells her something deep. I can handle life. I can handle myself. And if you're with me, you'll feel safe. And safety is powerful. Most women don't say it out loud. But emotional safety is what pulls them in. It's what makes them feel like they can open up. It's what makes them trust you. And trust? That's how emotional connection begins. Now let's say she's testing you. She's acting cold. She's ignoring a text. She's being difficult. The man without emotional control? He chases, he argues, he begs, he breaks. But the man with emotional mastery? He steps back. He stays calm. He watches. He makes decisions from logic, not from panic. And she feels it. She feels the strength in your stillness. She feels the power in your peace. She feels something rare. A man who doesn't break under pressure. That's when she starts to attach. Not because you tried to impress her, but because you showed her something she doesn't see every day. A man who can lead with peace. A man who feels deeply, but is not controlled by it. That's not boring. That's magnetic. Because emotional mastery isn't just attractive. It's addictive. What if I told you the more she sees you, the less she feels for you? Crazy, right? But here's the twist. The more you're around, the more she forgets your value. And the moment you're gone, really gone, she starts thinking about you non-stop. Let's talk about the secret power of being rare. Imagine this. You eat your favorite food every single day. At first, it's amazing. You love it, you crave it, but then something strange happens. After a while, it feels normal. Expected, boring. Now flip the story. Imagine only having it once a week or once a month. Now every bite becomes special. Now you can't wait for it. That's how women feel about men. If you're always available, always texting, always calling, always showing up, you become like air, everywhere, easy, unnoticed. But when you're rare, when your time is limited, when your energy is not given freely, you become valuable. Scarcity creates value. It always has. Think about diamonds. They're just rocks. But why are they expensive? Because they're hard to find. It's the same with you. A man who is everywhere, every time, saying yes to everything. He loses his edge. He loses her attention. And eventually, her respect. But a man who is busy with his life, a man who is chasing his purpose, a man who gives his time carefully, he becomes unforgettable. She starts asking questions. Where is he? Why isn't he texting? Who has his attention now? And boom, emotional attachment begins. Because here's the truth. Women don't fall for what's always there. They fall for what's hard to get, hard to hold, and impossible to replace. But remember, this isn't a trick. It's not a game. You're not acting busy. You're genuinely busy living your best life. You're working. You're growing. You're focused. And your energy is not something to be wasted. It's a gift, one that not everyone gets. When you live like this, you send a message without saying a word. My time is rare. If you have access to it, you're lucky. And when a woman feels lucky to be with you, that's when she starts holding on. That's when emotional dependence begins, because now your presence is a reward, not a given, not a guarantee, a gift. What if the most attractive thing about you was your silence when the world expects noise? Not your car, not your looks, not your bank account, but the way you stay calm while everyone else is falling apart. Let's talk about the kind of calm that pulls her in without a single word. Picture this. She's upset. Maybe something went wrong. Maybe she's testing you. Maybe emotions are running high. Most guys, they panic. They chase. They apologize for things they didn't even do. They try to fix everything too fast. They talk too much. They get nervous. They lose control, but not you. You sit still. You stay calm. You breathe. You let the storm pass. And that drives her crazy in the best way. Why? Because when a man controls his emotions, he shows that nothing outside of him controls his mind. That kind of strength is rare, and women feel safe around it. They respect it, and deep down, they crave it. Here's the truth. If you can stay calm when she's emotional, you become the anchor in her ocean. You become the steady hand. The power of needing nothing. What if she gets addicted to you? Not because you gave her everything, but because you didn't need anything at all. Not her approval, not her love, not even her time. Let's break down the magnetic power of needing absolutely nothing. Let's be honest. Most men chase love because they're trying to fill a hole. They want her to make them feel good. They want her to complete their life. They want her attention to prove they matter. But here's the twist. The moment you need her, you lose your power. The more you need her to stay, the more she wants to leave. Why? Because needing energy is heavy. It puts pressure on her. It makes her feel like she's your lifeline, like your happiness depends on her. And that's not attractive. It's draining. But when a man needs nothing, he becomes everything. Let me explain. You've got your own life. You've got purpose. You've got goals, discipline, a mission. You wake up every day focused, not on chasing someone, but on building something. You don't text a girl 24/7 because you've got things to do. You don't beg for replies because your self-worth isn't in her hands. You don't wait by the phone. You move forward, with or without her. And that's when she starts watching you. That's when she starts thinking about you. That's when she checks your story and wonders why you're not chasing. Because now she sees you're full already. You're not empty. You're not thirsty. You're not desperate for love. Because you already love your own life. You don't need her to complete you. You want someone who can join you. Big difference. You walk like a man who's free. And that freedom is rare. It's powerful. And it pulls her in. Women don't want a man who's emotionally hungry. They want a man who's emotionally full. Someone they choose to give to, not someone begging for scraps. So here's the shift. Stop trying to be what she wants. Become what you need. and watch how she starts needing you in ways you never imagined. Why she can't resist a man on a mission? What if the real reason she's thinking about you is because you're too busy thinking about your mission? Not her, not love, not chasing, just your purpose. And that's exactly what makes her crave you even more. Let's talk about something powerful. Purpose. Not just having hobbies. Not just staying busy. I mean deep purpose. That fire inside that drives you every day. See, most men think women want to be the center of everything. They try to make her their world. They give her all the time, all the attention, all the energy. But here's the truth. Nobody tells you. Women don't want to be your purpose. They want to be part of your purpose. Let that sink in. Because when you make her the reason you wake up, she'll slowly start pulling away. Not because she doesn't like you, but because you're giving her a job she never asked for. You're putting all the weight of your life on her. And that's not sexy. That's stressful. But when you have a purpose, something big you're building, something meaningful you're working toward, you become magnetic. You're not texting her every second. Not because you're playing games, but because you're in the gym. You're building a business. You're writing, creating, growing. You're becoming a man that even you admire. And that's when she starts admiring you too. She sees you moving, focused, driven. You're not just talking. You're doing. You're not just dreaming. You're building. And now, you're not asking for her energy. You're pulling her into your energy. That's different. You're not trying to win her. You're showing her that you've already won yourself. You see, women want to feel like they've joined something real, something strong, something that doesn't fall apart just because she's not texting for a day. When you lead your own life, she feels safe following because she knows she's walking with a man who doesn't get lost when love gets confusing. Your mission keeps you grounded. It keeps you steady. And it makes her feel like she's in the presence of something rare. A man who knows who he is, even without her. And that's when emotional dependence begins. Not because you demanded it. Not because you manipulated it. But because she sees how solid you are. And she doesn't want to lose it. The calm that drives her crazy. She's trying to get a reaction out of you, but you're unshaken. You're not cold. You're just calm. And that calm, it drives her wild. Not because you're playing hard to get, but because your peace is something she can't ignore. Let's talk about one of the most powerful things a man can show. Emotional control. Not acting like a robot, not shutting down, not pretending to feel nothing, but real control. The kind that says, I see what's happening, and I choose how I respond. Now here's what most guys do when a woman gets emotional. She's upset, she's pulling away, maybe she's testing you, and what do? They panic. They beg. They try to explain everything. They blow up with anger or fall apart with sadness. Why? Because they're afraid of losing her. They're afraid of silence. They think if they don't fix it, she's gone. But here's the truth. The more reactive you are, the less safe she feels. Because now, she's leading the emotions, and you're just following them. But a man who can stay calm, even when she's cold, even when she's distant, even when she's acting hot and cold, that man makes her pause. Because your calm says, I'm not afraid. It says, you don't control my peace. It says, I'm grounded in something bigger than this moment. That kind of energy is rare. And rare energy is addictive. She starts wondering, why doesn't he freak out? Why isn't he chasing me like the others? Why does he seem so sure of himself? Your calm makes her think. Your calm makes her reflect. Your calm makes her feel safe and attracted at the same time. See, women don't want a man who's cold and uncaring. But they also don't want a man who loses himself every time she gets emotional. They want a man who can hold space, who can stay strong, who can handle intensity without falling apart. That's what emotional control is. Not avoiding your feelings, just not letting them run your life. You're not here to match her chaos. You're here to lead with calm, to breathe when things feel tight, to speak slowly when she's loud, to step back when things get messy, not to punish, but to protect your peace. Because when you're the calm in her storm, she'll always come back to you for shelter. Not because you made her, but because you became the one place her heart feels safe again. Tesco. Real confidence. The quiet force. She can't resist. She's looking for something deeper than just your smile or your charm. She's searching for that quiet strength, the kind of confidence that doesn't shout. It just is. And when she sees it, she knows. You're not like the rest. Let's get to the heart of attraction, confidence. But here's the secret. Real confidence isn't loud, flashy, or filled with boasting. Real confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to prove anything. It's steady, strong, unshakable. Now, I'm not talking about fake confidence. That's easy to spot. The guy who brags about his car, his job, or how many women he's dated. You can tell when someone's trying too hard. Real confidence is the opposite. It doesn't need to impress. It doesn't need to make anyone jealous. It doesn't chase anyone for approval. Here's the trick. When you stop needing validation, that's when you become truly attractive. Women can sense when you're constantly seeking praise. They feel it in the way you talk, the way you act, the way you hold yourself. But when you don't need them to tell you you're amazing, when you're already sure of yourself, that's when your power truly shows. And that power is magnetic. It's not about pretending to be something you're not. It's about being okay with who you are, flaws, strengths, and all. A man who has self-approval isn't afraid to be authentic. And that authenticity, it draws her in. Why? Because most people, especially women, are tired of pretending. They're tired of the masks. They want someone who stands tall in his own skin, without trying to fit into any mold. Real confidence comes from one thing: competence. When you know your value, not because of anything external, but because you've put in the work. You've built something real. You've tested yourself. You've achieved something meaningful. And that's where true confidence comes from. It comes from knowing you have the ability to take care of yourself, to create value in your life, and to navigate the ups and downs without falling apart. When she sees you handling your own world with calm confidence, she starts to feel that pull toward you. It's not about being perfect. It's about being secure in who you are. And that sense of security is magnetic. Here's the paradox. The more secure you are, the less you have to prove. When you stop chasing her approval, she becomes the one chasing you. Why? Because you're a man of substance, not a man of excuses. And a man of substance is a rare and valuable thing. 10. The ultimate secret. Creating space for desire to grow. Ever wonder why? The more you focus on your life, the more she craves your attention. It's not a coincidence. It's not manipulation. It's pure human nature. And you're about to understand the powerful principle behind it. Let's wrap this up with a powerful concept that will change how you view relationships. Creating space. This isn't about playing games or pretending to be unavailable. It's about giving yourself the time and freedom to live your own life fully. And here's why this is the most powerful attraction strategy you could ever use. When you focus on building your own world, your passions, your goals, your purpose, you stop needing her to fill the gaps. And that's when she starts to need you. You see, when you become fully absorbed in your own life, something interesting happens. Your value increases. Why? Because she sees that you don't rely on her for validation or to feel good about yourself. You are already whole, already successful in your own right. And that, my friend, is extremely attractive. Now here's the secret that most men miss. Desire thrives in absence. When you're always there, always available, it's easy for her to take you for granted. But when you create space by living your own life, you make your presence a special event. You're no longer a constant. You're a rare and valuable part of her life. And as much as she might tell you she's fine on her own, deep down, she craves that connection. Because you are the one who's living your life fully, with or without her. This isn't manipulation. This isn't about ignoring her to make her want you more. It's about prioritizing your own growth, your purpose, your peace of mind. When you do this, it automatically creates a natural balance in the relationship. She becomes more attracted to you because you've demonstrated that your life doesn't revolve around her. Instead, she becomes emotionally invested because she wants to be a part of your world. And that is what makes her emotionally dependent. When she sees that your life is already amazing, with or without her, she'll start to wonder where she fits in. She won't be able to help but desire more of you because you're not needy. You're a man with your own direction, purpose, and drive. And women, on a deep emotional level, need that kind of man. She won't feel the need to compete for your attention, but she will naturally gravitate toward you because she sees something valuable, something rare, something authentic. Let me be clear. This is not about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. This is about becoming the best version of yourself and allowing her to become a part of that. When you're living your best life, in your own way, she will want to be a part of it. Because only a man with true independence can offer her the same. Final thought. The secret to making her emotionally dependent isn't about chasing her or trying to convince her of your worth. It's about living with purpose, creating your own world, and letting her discover how valuable it would be to be a part of it. When you do this, you won't have to chase her. She will chase you. And in that, you will find the freedom, power, and peace that come with knowing your worth. Now that you understand this, are you ready to stop chasing and start attracting the right kind of emotional connection? Let's talk about how to turn this knowledge into your real-life advantage.